You're right there guys, this is Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft, and today we're talking about my favourite airsofting sites of all time. Now, I've had quite a huge experience in terms of the airsoft sites I've been to. I've been airsofting for coming on a decade now, and I've been all over the Midlands and even travelled further north and south to experience some of the sites that are out there. So that's given me a really wide breadth of experience of places. So I've seen how different places have terrain on offer, who runs them, what games they play, the whole experience package that they offer. And so that's really allowed me to draw from a big experience base, and so it makes me feel definitive I can say that these are my favourite sites. So a couple of things with this. Obviously I can't talk about sites I've never been to, but if you feel there is a site that I need to go and see, put it in the comment section down below and I'll try and go to it once all this is blown over. I'm going to try and limit myself to one site per parent airsoft company, just to try and add the variety of the places. I'm going to cover 6 sites total, but there is no particular order in which one I think is the best of it. These are just the 6 that over time have left the most lasting and positive impression with me, and I would recommend to anybody in a heartbeat. And so with those in mind, on we go. YTA's The Pines. So we'll start with my favourite of the Yorkshire tactical airsoft sites. Before I go further, it's only fair that I do point out to people unfamiliar with it is that the YTA sites are owned by ASP UK, who are my sponsors, so I wanted to make that clear before we go into my opinion of why I really like this site. YTA has a couple of sites under its banner now. The Pit was the first they got, but there's also the Manor, the recently acquired Kingdom, which is the old Camp Nomad site, and my favourite of those is the Pines. Of all the sites, they have their good points, but the reason I favour this one over the others is that at the time recording it is the most complete and solid package for a day's airsofting. The site is one of the most impressive safe zones I've ever visited for a woodland site. The amount of space they have to use, the variety of the combat areas and the centrepieces to fight over, and the on-site facilities they have. If I have someone with me who was new to airsoft and I wanted to give them the best first impression of what the sport has to offer, I would bring them here, because I know that they're going to walk away from this site having a great time without having to deal with some of the other things that most woodland sites are lacking.
Run him right, run him right! He's gone! Hit! Nice.
Armourgeddon. As far as a unique appeal to a site goes, nothing beats Armourgeddon. Now, I say beat in the past tense because I'm a bit confused as to whether this site is still open or not. The last I'd heard, they'd sold the site off to someone else who was doing it up, but they still offer airsoft games on their website. So once the current problems around the world have cleared up, I'll go check on who's actually running the place and try and get back in there and get another game day. But why this is a unique site can be summed up in a single word: vehicles. The site was run by the same people who offer tank driving experiences and have a whole museum of armoured vehicles, some of which they would use during the airsoft games. They'd ferry people from the car park to the safe zone in a truck. They use a track APC to drive through the woodland and be used as a mobile base and cover. But the best one was the landing craft that they used for a beach assault style game, where they'd load up the teams onto the landing craft and have them storm a tree line that the other team was defending. Whilst the woodland they had on offer was on the small side and very much needed the development work that there was planning to add to it so they could add access routes and more structures, it was still an unforgettable day out. Definitely want to find out what the current situation is with this place, because I'd love to go back and experience it all over again.
Got him, one down. Got the guy behind the big tree. He's gone. Got him. Ooh! All right, Neo.
Skirmish Mansfield. Skirmish Mansfield doesn't have anything particularly quirky about it, but what I love about this place is how it's the perfect bridge for getting people who wouldn't normally want to try airsoft into the sport and giving it a go. This site is an operational paintball place as well, which is very much reflected in the terrain and gameplay you'll find here, but because of that it's extremely accessible and familiar to people who have never heard of Airsoft before and maybe tried paintball or something similar. You've got a lot of good facilities on site, it's well run and maintained, and the game zones that you fight in are quite varied. And although they are a touch on the small side, the game zones, what they often do is they'll combine two of the gaming areas together to make a larger map for the Airsoft players. It's an exceptionally consistent site in terms of providing a good experience to people, and I was so convinced by this that a few years back I actually recommended the place to a friend for him to have his stag do there.
Kind of.
Oh my god, so many people! On the right!
On the right! I shot him in the leg, but... One gone! Two gone!
Yeah, there's a guy right in front of me staring at me.
Pistol's gone! Good going, guys.
Black Dagger Airsoft, or the Black Hills Ravine. The site that was Black Dagger Airsoft and now goes by Black Hills Ravine has without question the most interesting and fun natural terrain to play on. This is definitely not a site for everybody though, as it is almost exclusively virgin woodland, and the large hills and undulations about the site may put some people off, but for me that is the whole appeal about this place. Fighting in the ravine with a small river running through the middle and pathways up on either side of it, cresting the top of Hamburger Hill to drop rounds on people on the other side, and trying to keep your footing whilst running parallel across Heartbreak Ridge. I have yet to find another place with terrain that is as challenging and interesting as this place. It's definitely not for the faint of heart or those with high blood cholesterol, and it really does lack in on-site facilities, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the best pure natural woodland site to fight through.
One of the river's gone.
Shouted, are you ready?
Nope. He's gone. Hey, hello. I see him poking up the left side. He's gone.
Anzio Camp. Anzio is the perfect blend of outdoor fighting and CQB. It's set in an ex-military facility. You get to fight through all the structures on site. There's enough woodland on the outside of the buildings to keep people busy if you're allergic to CQB and don't want to go inside, so it's not off-putting to them. But for everybody else, the buildings that you can fight through are the main attraction here. Unlike most CQB sites, the interiors of these buildings are huge, and you have more than enough access points so that it's exceptionally rare you'll ever find a choke point here. So fighting here becomes less about holding the one key corridor or staircase like you'll find in most indoor places, and more about staying mobile and flanking the enemy team. Sure, they may hold the main door into the building you need to get in, but there's no way they're covering every single window and you can clamber through all of those. East Midlands Airsoft Club. I like to think of East Midlands Airsoft Club, or EMAC for short, in the same vein as Black Hills Ravine, but a little less extreme, but a bit more refined version of it. The terrain you fight over doesn't alternate in height nearly as much, but there's definitely enough of it that you can use the ground itself for cover, and running about the place has a real flow to it when you're cresting the hills. The site is so much more developed, however. The safe zone is great quality, you've got plenty of structures on site that are fun to play through and are quite large, but it doesn't feel overcrowded with cover and the ground is really clear, so whether you're a sniper or a guy with a close range AEG, you're going to be able to fit right in at this place.
And on to us. We'll hold until we have further information. Over.
Have eyes on. guys at your front are down. 3 yellows are down at your 12.
So that's a rundown of my favourite airsofting sites of all time. Now, obviously there are more sites out there that I've really had a good time at. Honourable mentions include Matlock Combat Games, the Jail, the Stan, YTA's The Pit, and the more. But you'll notice as well that a lot of my favourite sites are outdoor woodland sites. I'm not a particularly avid CQB player. I'm not like allergic to it, but I definitely prefer woodland gameplay, and that has shown itself in my top selection. But there are plenty of other good sites out there in the UK that I have enjoyed my time with. But those 6 that I've listed just now are the ones that have left the most lasting and positive impressions, and I would have no problem recommending them to everybody. In fact, I'd go as far to say that if you're in the UK, especially in the Midlands, you need to go visit these places and experience what they have to offer. Now, I hope you've enjoyed my video of the rundown of my favourite sites of all time. Again, as I said at the start of the video, if you've got any recommendations for me for places I need to go visit in the future, drop them down in the comments section and I'll try and make my way over there when I can. And until next time then, this has been Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft.